Okay, so this manga haul is not as big as last month's manga haul because, you know, I had to recover from the Right Stuff sale. Did you see the last video? I went overboard. But this manga haul is so important because I finally completed a series. Actually, I'm wearing the shirt. I did it. I did it. And I also completed another series that finally came in after pre-ordering for so long. So yeah, let's get into the manga haul. Yeah, I picked up the Ghost in the Shell, like, fully compiled edition. Dude, this edition is super nice. Like, hardcover. This has been pushed back. I had it pre-ordered on Amazon, and it kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. It was like, yeah, it's coming in like September, November. I meant January of 2023, actually. I've never read Ghost in the Shell, but this just seemed like the best way to collect it because I like hardcovers, and it's apparently, it says it on the back. It's like the whole thing. I am so excited to actually hop into Ghost in the Shell because that is one of the titles of like manga and anime you always hear about. Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell. So, you know, hopefully I enjoy it. One that I know I enjoy, Vinland Saga. Listen to me, I've said it in manga collection videos, manga hauls, a whole video in and of itself. This is my favorite currently ongoing series. I love Vinland Saga. I actually think when it's all said and done, Vinland Saga will be in the upper echelon of like manga and anime. The season 2 of the anime just started. It's Vinland Saga. Check it out if you haven't. I highly recommend. This is the one series in my collection that I will always highly recommend. The only bummer, right? The only bummer, right? It takes forever for volumes to get released physically. So volume 14 is probably so far. I haven't looked it up. Maybe if I look it up, I'll put it on the screen. The wait for a new volume is going to be so heartbreaking. It finally happened. Yu Hakusho. I got the final volumes. They finally reprinted them. They finally sent them to me. Look at this. I'm so happy. I love this series. I love this anime growing up as a kid. I've been wanting to read the manga of this, and it's just one of those that I want to wait to have all of it because I didn't know when it was going to come back in stock, when it was going to reprint, but it's happened. It's happened. Ah, yes, dude. Yes. If you don't know, Yu Yu Hakusho is about a delinquent teenage kid that, gets hit by a bus and becomes a spirit detective in the spirit world. It is shonen as you can get. There's tournament arcs. The Dark Tournament arc is one of the best tournament arcs in anime, in my opinion, and it is got a ton of likable characters and great stories, and it is, to me, the quintessential shonen of my youth. Obviously, I've read a lot of shonen now, so, my top shonens probably have changed since I was a child, but this one holds that nostalgia for me, and I am so excited that I have finally completed it in my collection. And then to rattle off a few that I always pick up and their volumes came in. DanDaDan. If you are in this manga YouTube space, you've heard about this. It's kind of blended aliens, comedy, ghosts. It is a wild series, actually. I read the first volume. I can't wait to start this second volume, and I actually really do love the blue of this cover. I think it's super nice. The best way to describe this series is it is like if you take a bunch of sci-fi, add some comedy to it, and add like some really likable characters, throw it in a pot, and it just seems so absurd and crazy, but it's played kind of like I feel like the characters know what's going on. It's like, this is why is this this is wild, and it really works. Kaiju number 8, volume 5. It's Kaiju number 8. I think when this anime comes out, I've said it 1,000 times, this series is going to blow up. What it really does well, and I think what it excels at, is kind of hitting a nostalgia hit if you have been reading manga or anime in the 2000s, 2010s. And the story that it's trying to tell is, I think, unique and fun, and it's done in a really well done way. Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Volume 7. It's Frieren. I've talked about this series what feels like hundreds of times. Like I said, I definitely think that you should pick up that first volume. I think it's one of the best first volumes of manga in a long time. And it's just a really well done journey manga. Like Lord of the Rings, it's really about the characters and the journey that they are going on. And while I think there are peaks and valleys in this manga, I think overall it's still a fun time and still a really good read. And now for the two series that I've legitimately been waiting for a very long time to pick up and read. Under Ninja, Volume 1. I feel like this volume should have came out months ago. Like, I don't know if it had kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for a reason, but I had heard about this series and I pre-ordered it, and I just feel like it took forever to come out. Now, I'm still very excited to read it. I think it's such an interesting premise. Plus, it's kind of got those flaps. It's got the flaps in it, so it does make it feel a little fancier, in my opinion. So the premise of Under Ninja, right, is like ninjas used to be like the greatest thing in Japan. It's been dissolved, and some of the elite ninjas still can get like work. Other ninjas, they're in between jobs, and that's kind of the story follows this character that is in between jobs. And I don't know if it's going to be played for comedy or if it's going to be kind of serious or action, but just that premise alone was like, oh, I'm definitely going to check out the first volume. And then for the final series that I have picked up this month, Summertime Rendering, the hardcover editions. Now, I know the softcover or paperback editions have been out, but I really, again, I like hardcovers, so I pre-ordered the hardcovers. They, again, were supposed to come out like in sections, but apparently they all came out on the same day. I will say, it does feel nice. The hardcovers do feel like super nice, right? I had been reading online that the height difference, when you put the spines, that there's a height difference. I didn't notice that when I was opening it. Maybe when I play back the footage, I'll be like, oh, I see it. But they all seem to pretty much line up. And again, like I said, the binding does feel nice and it doesn't feel like cheap. But regardless of all that, I have heard great things about the anime and the manga, so it is super exciting to finally have the entire series. I believe it's only 6 volumes in hardback in my collection. I have heard the story is kind of crazy and really good. Let me know in the comments if you've read Summertime Rendering and if it's as good as the hype has made it seem to be. So yeah, that was my manga haul for the month of January. I know. Listen, I know it wasn't as big as last. I gotta have a month to recover. I can't be hitting 100 volumes every month. That's just crazy. But while it was only about 20 volumes, a lot of those volumes have been volumes I've been wanting. The Under Ninja, the Summertime Rendering, the Yu Hakusho. I have been wanting these volumes so badly, and it is so exciting to finally have a lot of these series complete in my collection. But as always, I appreciate you guys that watched the end of the video. Let me know what you guys picked up this month in the comments down below. And if you're having a bad day, I hope it gets better. And if you're having a good day, I hope it becomes fantastic. I'll see you next time.